Hi, my name is Jason Morgan. Welcome into my studio, and on this video I'm going to be showing you how I start to add the details to that test wolf drawing on the left hand side. If you haven't seen the first two episodes, you can get them on YouTube. Now, I did this test drawing before I embarked on that real detailed one on the right hand side. If you're interested in seeing how I do a complete masterworks like that over on my Patreon art channel, www.patreon.com/wildlifeart. You can see that on there. It's many hours long and shows you absolutely everything. So if you want to jump up in technique or you want to see how I achieve certain things, that's where you're going to see it. It's also on DVD on my channel, on my art website, and that's www.jasonmorgan.co.uk. So let's watch the video on this test piece and you'll see exactly how I create this depth and thickness of fur texture. So I'm continuing with that blocking in with the conte sticks. Not doing too much detail yet, so it's generally getting in that mid-tone. Then I'm blending it in lightly with my finger because it's pastel mat, it doesn't go blend in too much. And now you can see I'm using the sticks again to get in those darks. So that's the dark areas that's actually in between the fur, so that's the shadowy recesses, using the conte sticks again there, just because at this stage it's quite a large drawing, so I don't need to go to the very sharp pencils and fine details yet. And the conte sticks have got a nice range in there of these muted, subdued tones, so it really suits the wolf. Now I'm using the sticks yet again to do the blocking in of the snout area and that dark area of the mouth as well, the lower jaw, and then the blue highlight on top. And when you've got a shiny area or a wet area like this, generally look at the reference. It'll probably end up blue or purple colour because it's reflecting the sky above in many instances. So don't always go and reach for the white. Usually the blue is the one that's required, or even a grey. So just continuing that blocking in, getting that shape nice and correct on there, and the darks nice and dark as well. Now I'm switching over to those pencils. Now I'm using conte pencils here. I could have used the Derwent as well, they're very, very similar. And you can see I'm really going in that fur direction now, creating that upper layer of fur, so that's helping to give me that depth as well to the fur. And this is the important part of getting that thick feeling. So I'm going lighter and lighter generally as well, taking my time, using that piece of paper to rest my hand on when I don't want to smudge an area underneath. There's nothing special about that paper, anything would work on there. It's just preventing my hand rubbing on the surface, and because it's only half of the head, I don't need it all the time because I can actually just rest on the side. So when I want a more defined mark, I'm pushing that little bit harder with the pastels. And you can see how easily they are overlaying. This is something you can't do with coloured pencils because the pastels are opaque, the coloured pencils are not. So this is why I love the ease of pastels and why it's really taken off for me as a secondary medium, especially because it's so very, very similar to oil and acrylic painting, where you can put a lighter layer easily over the top. So if you're used to that type of thing, to painting in oils or acrylics, you really shouldn't find any problem at all going over to pastels because they are that similar. Whereas I liken coloured pencils more to watercolour because they're really kind of a transparent medium, so you've got to reserve the whites, makes it much, much more difficult. Now I'm starting to add some of those refinement details, darkening the darks, tidying areas up. I'm putting in highlights as well, because as you work with pastels, sometimes areas get a little bit smudged or a little bit muddy, and that's where you've got to do that very quick touching up and refining. So add into those darks, making those really punchy. The pastel sticks in general go a little bit darker than the pastel pencils. And I want to darken a few areas here as well, so I'm going back in with the sticks because I want them really punchy. And then back with the pencils now, putting in much more of the highlights. Getting that texture really in there, but remember this is just a test piece. It's just trying out various techniques before I do the big wolf drawing. Before I spend probably about 4 or 5 hours or more on that wolf. And this one is only a short, quick piece, perhaps about 1.5 to 2 hours long. So I'm not investing a lot of time in there, and that's going to take the pressure off me on doing things like practice pieces. If it doesn't work, it doesn't really matter. I'm just enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it and doing it. Now I'm coming in with much lighter tones, but you notice with my pencils they're still not white. They're still more of the muted light greys and light browns. But now you can really see that thickness of the fur developing. There's a much slower version of this on my of the actual large wolf I'm doing on my Patreon channel, where you'll see many more tips and it much slowed down. I think it may even be about 3 or 4 hours long, so you really get the effect of exactly how I do it, the pressure I'm putting down, how I'm overlaying the pastels as well. Now to the fine details, I'm just putting in some of these whiskers. It's not difficult at all with pastel pencils, just got a sharp pencil. And as you see on some of my videos on my YouTube channel, I've tried out various sharpeners so you can see which ones work with the pastels. And as I bring this video to an end, hope you've enjoyed it, hope you've picked up just a few tips on this short video. And as I mentioned, lots and lots of full-length videos over on my Patreon channel. So I think that's about it. Don't need to do any more as a test piece, and it makes quite a nice piece. It could be framed up and look quite good and unusual, just half a face on its own anyway. So hope you've enjoyed it. If you're looking for more art resources, I've really got you covered. I've got a dedicated tutorial website, that's jasonmorgan.co.uk, lots of videos on there, ebook tutorials, you name it, it's on that site. I've got a Patreon art channel, so every month I put up brand new videos, and that could be pastel videos, oils, charcoals, they're full-length videos, and there's also photo references with the Easy Trace line art on there. I've got quite a few hundred people supporting me, and that's on Patreon. And also, if you're after even more reference photos, I got a dedicated website just packed with reference photos. I think there's about 900 on there at the moment. So that's wildlifeart-online.com. Now, please, with my YouTube channel, new videos coming on here as well. If you can possibly subscribe to the channel, then you're never going to miss out on new videos.